Honourable Calgary-Currie.
Mr. Speaker, this year I once again participated in the Valentine's Day Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women's March at Scarborough Church in my riding. And once again, I heard heart-wrenching stories of Indigenous families who have lost a daughter or a mother. To the Minister of Indigenous Relations, what has your ministry done to support the work of the National Enquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls?
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to the member for the question and his ongoing advocacy in this area. Alberta, of course, is in full support of the National Enquiry and have been one of the original people to call for the inquiry in this country. We also believe it's important to consult with the members of families who have lost a family member, a girl or a woman, as we did in our fall conference with family members here in Edmonton. Shortly after we were elected, we made the call, and subsequently we have put in the orders in Council to ensure that the commissioners, when they come to Alberta, have all of the jurisdiction that they need. Thank you.
The honourable member for Fort Saskatchewan-Vegreville. Could you please keep the volume down, please? For supplemental.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Given that I understand the province is playing a role in helping families who have loved ones go missing, again to the Minister of Indigenous Relations, what formal structures have been put in place to provide support for these families?
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, member, for the question. The federal government has set aside $11.7 million for provinces and territories to establish family information liaison units. The Alberta unit will be fully staffed by mid-April 2017. The FILUs will be a one-stop information and support service for families of missing and murdered Indigenous women, rather than referring families to other services. These units are to help relatives of missing and murdered Indigenous women navigate the justice system and to offer support. Thank you.
Second supplemental.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Again to the Minister of Indigenous Relations, what other measures are being taken to address the needs of Indigenous women in Alberta?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to the member for the question. We are very pleased with our progress in working with the Indigenous women in this province. In December, we appointed 32 women to the First Nations Women's Economic Security Council and the Métis Women's Economic Security Council. And for the very first time, we provided core funding for the Institute for the Advancement of Aboriginal Women and have expanded programs of anti-violence such as the I Am a Kind Man campaign and the Moose Hide campaign. Other ministries in this government as well have also provided services such as the Children's Services, which is providing funding for Pregnancy Pathways, an inner-city program for pregnant and homeless Indigenous women.
Minister.